ACDC, one of the most iconic and enduring rock bands in the history of music, has left an indelible mark on the world with their high-voltage sound and electrifying performances. Over the decades, they've thrilled audiences worldwide with their unmistakable brand of rock and roll. But the band has also faced the loss of several members, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate with fans and rock enthusiasts across generations. Join Facts First as we present ACDC band members who died tragically. Bon Scott. Bon Scott was a charismatic and influential rock vocalist, best known for his time as the lead singer for ACDC. Born July 9, 1946, in Curragh, Scotland, as Ronald Belford Scott, he went on to become one of the most iconic figures in the history of rock music. His early life was marked by a love for music and a rebellious spirit. He moved to Australia with his family in 1952 and grew up in Fremantle, Western Australia. As a young man, he dabbled in various jobs, including working as a bartender and a truck driver while pursuing his passion for music. He joined his first band, the Spectres, in the 60s. In 1974, his life took a significant turn when he was recruited as the lead vocalist for ACDC, a hard rock band formed by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young. With his distinctive gravelly voice and charismatic stage presence, Scott brought a raw and electrifying energy to the band. ACDC quickly gained attention, and their 1976 album High Voltage marked their breakthrough. Over the next few years, ACDC, led by Bon Scott, released a series of iconic albums, including High Voltage, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Let There Be Rock, and Highway to Hell. Their music was characterized by high-energy rock and roll, raunchy lyrics, and Scott's powerful and often humorous vocals. Tragically, on February 19, 1980, Bon Scott's life was cut short at age 33. After a night of heavy drinking in London, he passed out in a friend's car. He was left to sleep off his intoxication, but in the early morning, he was found dead. The cause of death was later determined to be acute alcohol poisoning, and he had choked on his vomit. Bon Scott's untimely death was a devastating blow to the world of rock music and to ACDC. But the band decided to continue, and they recruited Brian Johnson as their new lead vocalist. In 1980, they released the iconic album Back in Black in tribute to Bon Scott, which became one of the best-selling albums of all time. Bon Scott's legacy lives on through his music, and he remains a beloved figure in rock history. Malcolm Young. Malcolm Young, the co-founder and rhythm guitarist of ACDC, was a driving force behind the band's iconic sound and success. Born January 6, 1953, in Glasgow, Scotland, Malcolm went on to become one of the most influential figures in the history of rock. His early life was marked by his family's move to Australia in 1963. Alongside his brother Angus, he developed a deep passion for music early on. They formed their first band, the Velvet Underground, not to be confused with the American band of the same name, in the early 70s. This marked the beginning of their musical journey. In 1973, Malcolm and Angus Young, along with other musicians, formed ACDC. Malcolm served as the band's rhythm guitarist and primary songwriter, while Angus took on the role of lead guitarist. Together, they created a unique and unmistakable sound characterized by loud, raw, and energetic rock and roll. Malcolm's steady and powerful rhythm guitar playing was the backbone of ACDC's music, providing the foundation for Angus's blistering guitar solos and the band's overall sound. ACDC gained popularity in Australia, then internationally. Their 1979 album Highway to Hell catapulted them to global stardom. Tragically, Malcolm Young's life was marked by health challenges. In 2014, he was diagnosed with dementia, which ultimately led to his retirement from ACDC. His brother Angus has described him as the band's driving force and its leader in many ways. Malcolm's dedication to his craft and determination to continue making music despite his illness were truly admirable. On November 18, 2017, Malcolm Young passed away at age 64. His death was a profound loss to the world of rock music and to his bandmates, family, and fans. George Young. George Young, an influential musician and songwriter, played a pivotal role in the early success of ACDC and the broader Australian rock music scene. Born November 6, 1946 in Glasgow, he was the older brother of Malcolm and Angus Young. In the 60s, George was a member of several bands, including the Easy Beats, where he played rhythm guitar. They achieved significant success with hits like Friday on My Mind, which remains a classic in rock music history. In the early 70s, George Young, along with his bandmate Harry Vanda, played a crucial role in helping to shape the sound and direction of ACDC during their formative years. George and Harry co-produced the band's early albums, including their debut, High Voltage, and TNT, which helped establish ACDC's signature sound. George's experience and guidance were instrumental in honing the band's talent. While he wasn't a member himself, his influence on the band's sound and success can't be overstated. Tragically, he passed away October 22, 2017, at age 70. His death was a significant loss to the music industry, and he was remembered as a talented musician, songwriter, and producer who left an indelible mark on Australian rock music. Paul Matters. Paul Matters was an Australian bassist who briefly played with ACDC in the early 70s. While his time with the band was relatively short, he left a mark on the band's history and the rock music scene. His early life and musical journey are not extensively documented, but he came into the spotlight when he joined ACDC as their bassist in 1975, replacing the original bassist Larry Van Crite. At the time, the band was still in its formative years and had not yet achieved global stardom. Matters' tenure with ACDC was short, lasting only a few months. His departure came after a disagreement with lead guitarist Angus Young, which reportedly led to his dismissal. His brief stint with ACDC can be heard on some early recordings and live performances, but he didn't play on any of the band's studio albums. Paul Matters' death occurred in October 2020, and the news of his passing brought some attention to his contribution to ACDC's early years. Colin Burgess. The most recent loss from the world of ACDC came recently with the passing of Colin Burgess. Burgess was a drummer known for his significant contributions to the rock music scene of the 70s, particularly for his time with ACDC and Master's Apprentices. Born November 29, 1946 in Sydney, Burgess started his musical journey in the 60s. His breakthrough moment came in 1974 when he joined ACDC as the band's drummer, replacing Peter Clack. At that time, they were still on the cusp of international stardom, and Burgess played a pivotal role during this crucial phase. His drumming style and stage presence added a dynamic element to AC/DC's live performances. But his time with the band was relatively short, as he left in 1974 after a few months. He died December 15, 2023. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite AC/DC song? Let us know in the comments section below.